back in to Scramble Drill, our Dynasty Fantasy Football podcast. We're a little late to the ball. The NFL draft happened. It started exactly a week ago. This time, took us a little while to get together, and it's still all of us didn't get together. Josh is sick, air quotations. Don't really know what he's doing, and don't really care. That's his problem, not ours. But Landon and I are here with you today. We're going to talk NFL draft. It's going to be a big episode. There is so much to talk about. A lot of other content creators have already beaten us to the punch and done all this stuff, but we're going to do it anyway because we're just super excited about this draft class. We're super excited if you have waited around and want to hear our opinions on things. We're really excited. So, Landon, I guess I don't think there's any news before we get into this. How are you doing, Landon?
Actually, Ben, I think it's all news. I think the only thing we have to talk about is news.
Yes. It is all news. No, you know what I'm saying. No news segment in this one. We're just hopping into NFL draft content.
No, I mean, I'm doing great. Great time to be a Dynasty fantasy football player. Our biggest issue right now is trying to pronounce Schaff. That's the biggest thing we have to worry about.
I'm going to be honest.
In my entire Tyler Schaff.
In my entire draft process, I never looked at his name. I never wrote his name down. I never looked at a highlight. Nothing about him. When the Saints drafted him, I thought he was going to be like an offensive guard, like Tyler Schaff, and then his picture came up. I'm like, oh, that's definitely a guard. And then they said quarterback.
Right.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Tyler Schaff was definitely not on my board.
No. Do we even approach the Shedeur Sanders conversation, or we just kind of let that slide by?
I think that one's pretty well tapped out. I've heard a lot of opinions on that one.
I've heard many opinions. My entire Twitter feed.
People need.
My entire Twitter feed for 2 or 3 days was just that. Like, they would not stop talking about it.
My goodness, it's still leading ESPN shows.
It's insane. Cam Ward was taken first overall to a QB-needy team that is kind of not a horrible situation. I think they might have said his name 6 times after it happened. It was all about Shedeur for the next 3 days.
You never heard anything about it?
No one said anything.
You never heard anything about it?
Which I honestly heard an interesting take that might be best-case scenario for him. Like, nobody's talking about him. The spotlight's not on him. He can just kind of show up and get to work.
Yeah, you'll hear here in just a second. I'm pretty high on Cam Ward at this point. So
yeah,
we're gonna go through. We're gonna talk through the positions, talk through just landing spots and where we feel comfortable drafting each of these players. So should be a good episode.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's start with. I mean, this is where the juice of the class was. This is the absolute meat of it. This is potentially, we hope, maybe, possibly, 2017. Repeating itself. We hope. Can't guarantee anything, but we hope. So the number 1 spot Genty was mocked to was the Raiders, and guess what? That's exactly where he went. It was a slight second where I thought when the Browns traded back, maybe they would take him, but it was always going to be the Raiders. My quick opinion, and I don't know how much you'll disagree with this. He's an instant RB1 in redraft, and he's an instant, I would say, tier 1 dynasty running back. I would put him in the tier with Bijan and Gibbs. I'm not willing to put him over either one of those guys, but I'd put him in the same tier.
Yeah. I think he probably, the safest thing to do is lock him in as RB3. That's the safest thing to do. If you want to get crazy and put him ahead of one of those guys or both of those guys, I'm not there, but I understand. I mean, everything you see, this guy is, when you talk about the best running back prospects of the last 10, 15 years, you hear 3 names. It's Saquon, it's Bijan, and it's this guy. And the production, sophomore and junior year, obviously Heisman finalist, obviously, I mean, there's nothing you can't say about this guy. All the advanced metrics are great, and he went 106. There's there should be 0 rookie drafts where he is not the first overall pick this year. Maybe if you are like a close relative of Omarion Hampton and you have the first overall pick and you want to take him, I'm fine with that, I guess.
There may be some some 14-team Superflex league where you get like 10 points per passing touchdown. Like then, okay, you'll probably take like Cam Ward or somebody, but
yeah, if you are in a 14-team Superflex, you hate yourself. You just do.
That is a miserable league format. That is horrible.
Oh my gosh. In that format, you are trading the moon and stars for Justin Fields in that format.
Yeah, he's great
but,
there.
But I mean, Ashton Jeanty, this is exactly what we hoped for. There was a lot of smoke to the Jacksonville fire.
Yeah, that really picked up steam.
The last couple days. And then obviously they trade up and do what they did, and we'll definitely talk about that. But yeah, Jeanty, this is everything we could have asked or imagined.
Yeah, no, I'm stoked. I'm probably gonna only get one share of him unless somebody makes me a big offer in one of my leagues. But I actually just traded Jeanty in one league yesterday for I would think really good compensation. So he proposes an interesting trade candidate as well if you can get a haul for him.
Right, and if you're in a 1 QB, just don't trade the pick. Like
no.
Unless you literally get Bijan or Gibbs, I would not trade the pick at all. Like I would
Chase or Jefferson or somebody like that.
Right, one of the top receivers. But unless you're getting a legit first-round startup pick in 1 QB, so those 2 running backs or one of the top 4 or 5 receivers, don't think about down tiering because just the ceiling is so high. I would rather not trade it and him not live up to the hype than trade it for something that's fair now and then him be the RB1 by week 4 in Dynasty. I wouldn't trade the pick at all.
And there are some slight detractors because the Raiders' offensive line is not very good. There is questions around the team, but I don't. I'm not
they've got their tackles though. They have 2 good tackles, and that's enough. 2 good tackles. Pete Carroll coming in and just taking this guy with his first pick. Like,
I mean, Carroll's going to give him 300.
Gosh.
He's going to have 300 carries this year.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Man.
All right.
I hope so.
We don't need to spend too much time on Jeanty. You've known about Jeanty the entire draft process. You knew if he went somewhere like this was exactly. I believe in our pre-draft, we did an episode probably a month or 2 months ago now where we kind of ranked every landing spot, and we had the Raiders in the S tier as one of the absolute best landing spots. So this is best case scenario.
This is scenario.
Dream scenario. I feel like Hampton got mocked here a lot, but I don't think any of us ever really thought he was going here. I think we thought he would go to the Broncos or something like that. But this is an absolute luxury landing spot for Omarion Hampton to the Chargers.
Yep.
Holy cow, dude! Like, a lot of people have him as Dynasty RB5 right now, dude. I've got him at 4. I think I have to put him over Saquon. I have to.
Yeah, I mean, this is so ideal. This is so ideal. You are not in the slightest worried about Najee Harris. You are not in the slightest worried about whatever the fancy tenure is they did to J.K. Dobbins and then brought him back. You're not in the slightest worried about any of those guys. Like, let's say it is a committee for the first 6-8 weeks. I will not care a bit. I will not bat an eye at this at all. I mean, this is dream scenario. Greg Roman, Jim Harbaugh, want to pound the football, man. And with that offensive line and Justin Herbert, this is.
I mean, I'm looking.
This is what we all wanted. This is what we wanted.
My guess is it could honestly look a little bit like Jonathan Taylor's rookie season, to where the first half of it, he was a little hit or miss. I mean, he was good, and then like the last 6 games, he had like just 25 points every single week. Like that's what I'm envisioning for Omarion Hampton. Like I think the Chargers are going to try to make it a somewhat committee to where like, oh, we're going to rotate Najee Harris in and all these other guys. And by the end, it's going to kind of be like what you've said a few weeks ago. It's like just give the best guy the ball. And he's instantaneously day one, he's the best running back on that roster, and it's not close.
Not close. Not close. I will say this. This is a weird take from this pick, but I believe this. If you have Najee Harris, this is your last chance. Try to trade him to whoever has the 102. This is your last chance to trade Najee Harris and get something for him.
Yeah,
it's
he's
possible
completely done.
Whoever has the 102 is thinking it's going to be a committee, because it probably will be to some degree, and just wants Najee either for the handcuff or for the committee or whatever. If you can get out of Najee Harris and get anything for him,
I'm talking a third rounder.
This is the time to do it. Yeah, this is the time to do it. Definitely if you could get like a 26 second or something. This is absolutely the time to do that.
I don't care if it's the best team in your league. If that team offers you the 26 second, take it.
You have to take it. You have to take it. I mean, it's, yeah. But this is, again, dream scenario. And with a lot of these early guys, all dream scenarios, basically. We got super lucky with how this draft went for running backs. At least the first 2 rounds. First 3 rounds.
We ranked the Chargers as an A-tier landing spot. And to be fair, our A-tier was enormous. But, like, it's holy cow, dude. I traded the 102 in our Scramble Drill League. And to be fair, it was a package to get CeeDee Lamb. But still, man. I got a little FOMO about Amari and Hampton.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know where you have these next few guys. I think we're at a tier break a little bit here. Not that this isn't technically a rankings video, but I think Genty's probably by himself, and Hampton is probably by himself too. And then you kind of got a big
himself. Yes.
You kind of got a big tier 3, which is what we've been saying the entire draft process anyway. And we were very fortunate that it basically stayed exactly what we were thinking. So I've got Henderson next to the Patriots. We ranked the Patriots as a B-tier landing spot, and we sort of called that, look, Ramondre Stevenson is not the type of running back who's, like, got the backfield on lockdown. Do not be surprised if the Patriots take one. And lo and behold, here comes Travion Henderson in the second round, and it's exactly what we said pre-draft, where whoever the Patriots take is going to be instantly the best running back on the team. And guess what Travion Henderson is? The best on the team.
Oh, far and away. I think if I'm doing my rankings, I actually would have Quinshon Judkins a touch ahead of him. I love both these landing spots, though. I love Travion Henderson. One of my favorite things about this pick, if not my favorite thing about it, is new coaching staff.
Yeah.
That's what makes this pick so good for fantasy, is because this coaching staff, they have no tie to Ramondre Stevenson, right? Antonio Gibson, he is a special teams player at this point. Same with Hasty, whoever they had, whatever the third string guy was.
Doesn't matter.
This coaching staff comes in, and with their second pick on a team that has a lot of holes, Mike Vrabel, who is a defensive head coach, their second pick, what do they go to? Travion Henderson. They love this guy. They took him, 206? Judkins went a touch ahead of him.
It was only like 2 picks difference between them, so not a big deal.
These guys should go back to back in every draft. Every draft should have these guys back to back. I don't mean back to back running backs. I mean back to back picks. And if you are,
go ahead.
I'm fine with taking this guy. Honestly, if you're super high on him and you want to take him at the 103, I wouldn't take him there, but I'm fine with that. And even if you're super low on him and you like Tep more and you like Cam Ward more and you like everything, he can't go past the 107. He just can't. He's got to be in that range. Really, the 103 through the 107 is pretty fluid, I think, in my head, or really 108 maybe in my head this year. But Travion Henderson is squarely in that. I love this landing spot. I think we probably had this as a B, close to an A in our pre-draft rankings. Is that right?
We did. This was like top of B tier.
This is fantastic. Fantastic. And he's got such a skill set. He can do it all. I love it. I love it.
And I've got one more thing I want to say about Henderson, and then I want to kind of take a quick detour to almost like a strategy opinion here. I love the landing spot for a few different reasons. Like we said, new coaching staff. He's the best running back on the team. And Travion is actually a really good pass catcher and a really good pass blocker.
Yep.
And the Patriots did not really bring in much as far as pass catchers, though. They brought in Stephon Diggs, who is coming off an ACL. I think Stephon's going to have a pretty good year there, but they don't have a ton. So I genuinely would not be surprised if you go out there and see Travion Henderson have 100 targets in this Patriots offense. And that's a lot for a running back, but it would not shock me. They have that, I feel like that's just with his skill set, he could do that. I'm not saying he necessarily will, but he's going to see a ton of passes out of that backfield. And then you mentioned...
Yeah, I'm super high on Henderson. I'm super high on him.
And you mentioned Judkins. Henderson and Judkins should go back-to-back, and we'll talk about Judkins in just a second. But this is why I love, like you said, 103 to 107, because I genuinely, I slightly prefer Henderson, but I also love Judkins, so I love trading into that 105, 106 range in your rookie drafts this year and just take whichever one falls. I don't want to have to pick one between the two of them. I just want to take whichever one falls. Yeah. This is a great draft to trade up to 107. It's because there's 4 or 5 guys where I'm like, if one of them is there at 107, I genuinely don't care which one. I'm just going to take which one falls.
Yeah, I think there's actually... Through the 109, I feel so good about 101 through 109. I didn't think I'd be coming away this high on the 109, but man,
and depending on your draft setting,
really well.
Like if you're in a, and we'll talk about tight ends in a little while too. If you're in a tight end premium league, that's putting like 110, 111 elite picks. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable
Crazy.
draft.
Okay.
Quinshawn, early second round to the Browns. Another one. Yeah. I think we had this one as the top of A tier as a landing spot. Absolutely ideal. Yeah. He's getting a full RB1 workload day one.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of competition there. I mean, the thing I like about Judkins, or the thing that a lot of people discount Judkins for that I don't really care about, is some of the advanced metrics, advanced analytics said he actually wasn't as good as my eyeball said he was. Like a lot of the advanced stuff I've seen has him a little lower. I don't care about it just because of how he split up his workload at Ohio State. Both these guys don't have the counting stats you want or what we're accustomed to. It's just because they took away from each other. It doesn't bother me at all. I like him because it's who Cleveland likes. Travion Henderson was on the board, and they said, nope, we want Judkins. He matches what we want to do. And, man, I'm thrilled about this landing spot for Quinshawn Judkins. I couldn't be higher on either of these guys, really. I think, yeah.
Yeah, this is absolutely perfect. I think after the day one, I have these two kind of in their own tier. And then I've got the two next guys go in their own tier as well.
As far as running backs, you mean?
As far as running backs.
Running backs.
Yeah. These are probably the next two guys are, where would you say? I'm guessing they're the 108 to 111, depending on your league setting.
In Superflex, yes.
In Superflex?
Yeah. In Superflex, yes.
So
it depends on whether it's tight end premium or not, whether you're going with tight ends in this same range. If it's not tight end premium, I would take both these next two guys over both tight ends.
Yeah. In non-tight end premium,
I would at least.
All right. This one is also another I genuinely don't know which way I'm split on. I know, talking to Josh, I know which way he's going to lean. Josh is going to definitely take R.J. Harvey. I feel like I might give the nod to Caleb Johnson in Dynasty. Caleb Johnson goes to the Steelers. R.J. Harvey, but he goes early third round, I believe. R.J. Harvey goes to the Broncos early second round. Both of those we had as A-tier landing spots, the Broncos and the Steelers.
So when it happened, when this went down, we were texting each other all through the draft.
Oh,
like,
yeah, no.
All of us were just...
Our phones were hot that night.
Yeah, it was. And so when R.J. Harvey went to the Broncos, I thought the pick was going to be Caleb Johnson. I like Caleb Johnson more. I think he's a better player. I love his fit in the NFL. So
and he's
I was fully
almost
expecting,
4 years younger. RJ Harvey's old.
I thought they were going to go running back. And so I thought Caleb Johnson was going to be the pick for the Broncos. And when the card came in and it was RJ Harvey, everything in my mind changed. Because Sean Payton, who, Ben, he knows more about football than we do.
I don't think
I
so.
hate to break that to you.
I don't think so.
He's got a better grasp of football than we do. Caleb Johnson is sitting there on the board. All these running backs, Scattaboo, all these guys, they're on the board, and he says, the guy I want is RJ Harvey. In the second round, with his second pick, that's all I need to know. I truly do not need to know anything else. Whatever reservations you have, anything you had about tape or age or whatever, literally throw it out the window. Because Sean Payton said, I have my option of these guys. This is the one I want. And so the thing about him being 24, I get it. Like, that's not what you want for a player coming out
not
of
ideal.
college. You want him to be 21, 22, right? Ben, we play Dynasty in 3-year windows.
This is true.
3-year windows. If you're thinking about 6-year windows, then obviously you lead heavy toward Caleb Johnson. If you're thinking about 3-year windows, I don't know how big of a gap that is. Now, for me, it is enough for the tiebreaker because of Caleb Johnson's landing spot in draft capital, because I think Johnson's better, and I love the Steelers' landing spot. To me, these guys are like dead even for the next 3 years. I could see them scoring very similar amounts of points the next 3 years. So with that said, since I think it's about a tie, I will give my nod to Johnson, and I would be taking him above Harvey. But that age gap is nothing more than a tiebreaker to me, just because I'm thinking about this in terms of 3-year windows. And I think both these guys could be mid to high-end RB2s, possibly even low-end RB1s as early as this season. These are both running back ones on their team in good landing spots, and they're both talented.
Caleb Johnson is probably the most likely to be in a quote-unquote timeshare because the Steelers do like Jaylen Warren. I do think Jaylen Warren is a good player, but the talent is going to win out. Caleb Johnson is literally perfect for the Steelers system. He is literally exactly what you would picture a Steelers running back being. He is everything they want.
And one thing I do want to mention about Caleb Johnson, yes, he went 3rd round as opposed to 2nd round, but that was the Steelers' 2nd pick. They didn't have a 2nd round pick. This was their 2nd pick, and they chose to take him. So I know we like 2nd round running backs way more than 3rd round, but I think that is something to mention.
Yeah. I mean, and we see 3rd round running backs have success at a consistent clip. It's not like it's not a day 3 thing where day 3 is very hard to predict who's going to be good. Day 3, I mean, guys are still elite in the 3rd round.
Right. Yeah. But I'm just saying, even so, like, it's not like the Steelers had a chance to take him in the 2nd and passed on him. They didn't have a 2nd round pick. This was their 2nd pick, and they chose to go get this guy.
Yeah. I mean, I will speak good on. I feel like I have talked bad on RJ Harvey too. I don't dislike RJ Harvey. I thought it was a very interesting pick when it happened, but his tape is extremely good. His numbers are extremely good. He's built like DeAndre Swift. He's like 5'9", about 205, 208. Really, really quick. He's got really good speed, and I do agree with you too. And this was going to be one thing I was going to say, kind of here wrapping up the end of running backs is. I think we've got 6 RB2s day 1 from this rookie class. And when I say RB2s, I mean top 24 running backs. I think Genty and Hampton have RB1 potential. I think Henderson and Judkins are locked in RB2s with potential to be RB1s. And I think Johnson and Harvey are RB2s who with high-end RB2 upside.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't shock me if either one of these guys was a low-end RB1 this season. It wouldn't shock me.
Like if RJ Harvey goes out there, you tell me right now RJ Harvey goes out there and finishes his RB9 or RB11, I'm not going to that would not shock me in the slightest. The last running back I put on here to mention, there's a lot of names still out there. You got your Devin Neals, your DJ Giddens, all those. Cam Scatteraboo went like the first pick on day 3, I think, to the Giants, which we had as a B tier landing spot. And this is something I think you've touched on before, is always go with the talent. So even if you like the Giants landing spot, take the talented players ahead of him. But it still is an interesting landing spot all the same, because a lot of people really like Scatterbo as a prospect. The Giants are really good. I mean, Tyrone Tracy, I don't think he's better than Cam Scatterbo.
No, and this is the not only the best running back on the roster, it's the running back on the roster they have the most invested in. I think it's probably a timeshare to start out with, but Scatterbo's better. I mean, and Scatterbo is versatile enough to catch a lot of passes too. I mean, that's not the best thing he does, but he can do it. I mean, like, I could definitely see by the end of the year it being 65-35 Cam Scatterbo. I also want to mention I have him in a tier. So I have Scatterbo in a tier below Harvey and Johnson. You probably are kind of in the same boat.
Yeah, definitely.
I would guess.
I mean, it's day 2 versus day 3, and I do like Scatterbo, and I do like the landing spot. The draft capital is a tier breaker for me.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I would put Tootin in the same tier as Scatterbo.
Yeah, no,
I like
that's
this
true.
landing spot.
That's very
a lot.
good. I didn't think about that.
Because here's the thing, Ben.
It's
a new coach.
New coaching staff.
New coaching staff.
And I don't have this in front of me. Was he their second pick, or was he their third pick? Because they traded a lot to Cleveland, and I know it included their second round pick to go up and get Travis Hunter. So I don't know how many picks, and I should have looked that up beforehand.
I think it was their third pick because he went in the 4th round.
Okay. I didn't know if they traded their third in that deal too.
But still, they went up, got him, and they don't have that much invested in ETN. This coaching staff has no ties to him. Tank Bigsby, last coaching staff they were really trying to make Tank Bigsby work, and he was okay. He was fine. But this coaching staff's not going to work as hard to make Tank Bigsby work as the last one did. So
they will work hard to make Basil Tootin work.
Yeah, I would put Tootin and Scatterbo kind of in the same tier, and then after that it's just pick whoever you want. Like after that, there's a lot of 5th, a lot of 6th, some 4th round guys. At that point, you're probably into the 3rd round here, possibly late 2nd, but you're probably in the 3rd round at this point, and you're just taking whoever you feel the best about. Really, I don't have super strong convictions on any of them. If I was going to pick any of the rest of them, I'd probably say Jaden Blue just because of the landing spot, but there's none of them I feel super, super strong about.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. I knew I don't even know why I didn't think of Tootin, because he was actually moving up my rookie board before the draft just because I was kind of falling in love with the guy. So, yeah, I definitely like the Jaguars' landing spot. I do think that one's definitely going to be a timeshare. Unless Tootin is just awesome out of the gate, which he could be, that one's definitely going to be really hard to predict how things shake out. But, I mean, maybe not this year, but definitely next year, Tootin is a breakout candidate.
Yeah. Yeah, I like I said, those guys, I feel really solid about coming away from any of my rookie drafts with any of those top guys. And then after that, I don't really have any advice for you other than just take the guy you want the most.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of where I'm at after that. But.
All right, let's shift over to receiver. Obviously, running back, awesome, near perfect class. Because before we jump into receiver real quick too, I just wanted to say one last thing on running backs is not a lot of guys we were praying to stay safe got hurt. Like the Bears did not draft a running back, so DeAndre Swift, despite all odds, dodged every single bullet and is the RB1 for the Bears. Chase Brown The Bengals were a big candidate to take a running back. They didn't take a running back, so Chase Brown is still alive. I'm trying to think of off the top of my head who else were we kind of concerned about. I mean, even
and then
some veterans like Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara, like there was a day 3 running back the Saints took. Like Kamara's going to be back. Aaron Jones, they didn't take one there. Aaron Jones is there. Christian McCaffrey. So all of the veterans, for the most part, dodged bullets as well.
Yeah, no, it was a great draft. Some of the fringe guys, your Ramondre Stevensons got killed, your Tyrone Tracy's, but like if you were counting on one of those two guys to win you your league,
you had a problem.
I got something else for you. Now
you had a problem.
Now could they have been legit flex options? Maybe, but they were never going to be league winners. So we got really lucky with this class.
Yeah. All right. Now we'll switch to receivers. The top receiver, you like him or not, I've got my questions on him, but the guy went number 8 overall to not a bad landing spot. A team with a quarterback they are developing. I think he's probably the best receiver on the field for them day one. It's Ted McMillan. I mean, he can be Drake London 2.0. Drake London went at 8 to a questionable spot, and now look where he is.
Yeah, Ted, he's firmly in the tier with Quinshawn and Travion Henderson for me.
He's got to be.
He's got to be. I'm fine with moving them. I would also have, just a little foreshadowing, I'd also have Cam Ward in that tier. But I'm fine with him being that high. I mean, he went in the top 10. Like, the Panthers did not have an alpha receiver. They kind of had a little bit of like a receiving core that I really like if everyone in their room was slid down a role, if that makes sense. Like, they were asking basically Adam Thielen to be their 1, Xavier Legette to play a role as the 2 or 3, and they're kind of going about it that way. That's a receiving core that, like, if everyone can slide down 1 and Thielen can be your 2 or 3 and Legette can be your 3 or 4, like, I like that a lot better, and that's what they think they have in Ted McMillan. I mean, they took him at 8 overall.
Yeah.
Like,
and they weren't
trade
really
down.
They weren't really mocked to take him much either. Like, there were some people who said they would, but Jalen Carter shoot, I just completely blanked on the guy the Falcons took. Anyway, they were mocked to take him, a pass rusher there most of the time.
Yeah. Oh, this is a team with a lot of needs. And they could have probably, the way the draft went, it seems like they could have traded back a little bit and still got him, and they were like, nope, not trading the pick, we're taking him. So you got to take him high. I mean, you got to, he's got to be a top 7 startup pick. Or not startup pick. He's got to be a top 7 rookie pick. He has to be. But Ben, I think you skipped a receiver that had gone before him in this draft.
I did. It's a receiver. It's nothing against him about me liking him or not liking him. I just do not know what to think about Travis Hunter. I don't.
This is a good conversation to have. He has to be, at the worst, wide receiver 2. If you want to take him as wide receiver 1, I think you might be right. But you can't take anyone other than Ted over him at receiver. They traded up from 5, gave up a 26 first to take this guy at 2.
And they have a bad team, so that could be a top 5 pick.
It was a crazy decision. Crazy. I couldn't believe it that they traded a 26 first to move up and do that. My guess is they want him to play some defense. But I would say, like, I don't know. It's hard to it's really hard to guess this thing, but I'm thinking like maybe 70% of the offensive snaps, 40% of the defensive snaps is like a good that in my head, the way they were talking, the way the GM and the coach was talking, that seems kind of like the plan. If he's going to be a majority offensive player, he's the best receiver in a good spot. Like,
if you can promise me right now,
spot.
If you can promise me right now, he has 100 targets this year, I put him at wide receiver 1 in this class easily.
Yeah, it's really hard to pick how many targets he's going to get. I don't don't know. At receiver, I think probably if he's on the field, it's going to be mostly on passing plays. I don't think they're going to use him a lot to block. They're also going to ask
not
him
if you want him on defense
to cover somebody. So I feel like if he's on the field, it's going to be passing plays. And I just feel like with the new head coach, with what he did or how he helped Baker, and I know Baker had resurged before he was the OC, but he definitely had a hand in what happened in Tampa Bay last year. You cannot let any other receiver other than Tet go in front of him in your rookie draft. And if you want to take him as the first receiver off the board, I can get behind that. I would lean Tet, but I think he's right there.
Where is your fear on potentially that pick being lit on fire? If he ends up being a great cornerback and they use him a lot more on defense than they do on offense, because you got to remember BTJ is still there. BTJ is probably the one there. Is the one there?
Oh, absolutely he is. Lit on fire. I'm not worried about that at all. I'm not worried about it lighting on fire. What I am worried about is, man, I missed an opportunity to get R.J. Harvey, and at the end of this year, he's the Dynasty RB8. I am worried about that. That's definitely a possibility, but lit on fire, he's going to be good. When he's on the field, he's going to be good. So what does that look like? I mean, could Matthew Golden go out and be a better Dynasty asset? Yes. Could even a guy like Jaden Higgins go out and be a better Dynasty asset? Yes. But if I'm at like the 109 and all the running backs I feel good about are gone and Ted is off the board and Cam Ward is off the board, and I'm sitting there looking, hey, do I want this guy or do I want Colston Loveland? I am 100% taking a shot on him over Colston Loveland, probably even in a tight end premium league, because he's that talented. And there's a chance he gets to the NFL and they see what he's doing at receiver and he's just a pretty good corner. And after a little bit of time, they're like, hey, man, let's just put you at receiver and leave you there. And then you're going to love having that pick at your 108, your 107, wherever you took him. I'm higher on him now than I thought I would be before the draft.
I mean, Josh and I consistently had him as like a second-round pick in our rookie rankings.
He can't go in the second round. He can't. Not with them trading up. Like I said, even if like even if the Browns would have just stayed put and taken him at 102, I wouldn't be as high on him as someone going up and trading for 102 and taking him. That's a different level. They spent 2 first-round picks to take this guy.
And typically, and I'll agree with you too, typically teams don't trade up in the top 5 to take corners. They don't.
No.
It's a receiver or a quarterback or a pass rusher. That's when people trade up. Which arguably are the most important positions in the NFL right now is quarterback, receiver, pass rusher.
Yeah. They're going to give him opportunities to do both. I'm not saying that. That's definitely going to happen. I just think there's a good chance his best is going to be receiver. And, if you have him ahead of Tet, I don't blame you.
So what I'm hearing is
which I did not think I'd be saying.
There's a tier 1 at receiver this year of 2 guys.
Yes, those two are my tier 1. Yes.
If you want to put the tier 3 running backs ahead of the tier 1 receivers, I also don't hate that either.
Tier 3 being Judkins and Henderson. I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm not necessarily like it will be right. I mean, when rookie drafts come on, like there's going to be teams that take Tet over those guys and maybe even Hunter over those guys, and it might not be wrong, but I also don't blame you if you're a little bit lower on them and be like, yeah, I'm definitely taking Judkins and Henderson over them. That's fine too.
Yeah, to me, it's so close. That group of guys, and I'll throw Cam Ward in there. You could argue me into it being team need at that point. And you never want to go on your rookie draft based on team need. But those guys are so close, I can get behind that.
Yeah. All right. So after those two, which is going to be a fascinating conversation all offseason, is what to do at receiver. I do not think this is the 3rd best receiver in the class. But based on draft capital and landing spot, he has to be Matthew Golden. Or at least for now.
Yeah,
I do not love Matthew Golden. Go ahead.
As good as we did with running back landing spots, which were awesome, we did equally as bad at receiver landing spots.
Yes.
Like, there was 3 or 4 times during this draft where a pick came in and it was receiver, and I was bummed out. I was like, are you serious?
It happened twice.
3 different times or 4 different times.
Two for sure were like big time, like, why did you take him? Why?
Yeah. Matthew Golden, in my opinion, walks into the league with a really sharp offensive head coach, a quarterback that can make him fantasy viable, and as the most talented receiver on his team, and the receiver with the most draft capital on his team.
First time in 22 years.
And I still don't feel good about it.
First time in 22 years they've taken a
I still don't
in round 1.
But I still don't feel good about it.
No, I don't.
He checks
feel great
all those
about
boxes. And I still feel weird about this.
What did we say all season about, like, Jaden Reed? Like, every time Jaden Reed gets the ball, Jaden Reed is great. Jaden Reed he passes the eye test, all that stuff, but he doesn't get the ball. And you got your Christian Watsons out there. Romeo Dobbs is there. Tucker Kraft is a really good pass catching tight end. Jaden Reed is there to take targets. Like, it's a super crowded receiver room, and I haven't seen Jordan Love zero in on a wide receiver 1. Like you've got quarterbacks like Stafford. If they have a wide receiver 1, they're going to throw in the ball 200 times a year. Like, if he's healthy, like, they love a receiver 1. Jordan, he spreads the ball around.
Yeah, I don't love it. I don't love it. Like I said, the Packers have 5 receivers they like, 2 tight ends they like. Maybe, could this be them taking a guy in the first round? Could that be a signal to a shift in philosophy where they're like, man, we need that guy we can go to? Maybe. But I don't feel great about it. At best, in a tight end premium league, outside of Hunter and McMillan, I do not think there should be another wide receiver go in the first round.
Yeah, I think
if it's a tight end premium league.
I think he's 112 is the highest he should go in that kind of situation.
Yeah. I guess, 112. I guess that'd be fine. But
thinking, biases aside on the player and stuff, like, that's a pretty good 112 still. Is a first-round receiver going to a good situation? That's a good 112.
No, it is. It is. But in the last 5 years, basically, I guess I could sit down and think about it more. But what first-round receiver was not going in the first round? Like, locked in first round of rookie drafts. Like Jameson Williams, who had a torn ACL? Is that like...
Yeah, Jameson Williams.
But even he was going in the first round.
Chris Olave was going first round. I'm trying to think back to the...
they all were.
Was Brandon Ayuk and those guys? Like, they had to have been going first round too, right? Remember when they were taken?
That was a good draft. That was a good draft. So maybe not. But, yeah, that's the point. Like, it's weird to say it, but I don't feel great about it. But he would be my wide receiver 3 as it sits.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm with you. I don't love it, but based on where he went and the situation he went to, I have to put him at 3. And the next guy, based on where he was taken in the draft, I have to put him at 4. And I like this player better than Matthew Golden by a pretty good bit. It's Emeka Egbuka. I really like him as a player. I hate where he went. Absolutely hate it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would lock him in as my wide receiver 4 as well. I like some other landing spots better, but I like him so much as a player as well. I feel like you and Josh actually are even more down on this landing spot than I was. I don't love it. Obviously, I would have loved for him to go somewhere else, but I have a lot of faith in him to be a huge part of that offense by year 2. I don't know what this year is going to look like.
Now, see, that I could definitely see that. I guess the thing that bothers me there's a lot of things that bother me, but it's Chris Godwin plays exactly his role, and maybe this is a sign to Chris Godwin's health. Like, I know they just gave Chris Godwin a 3-year extension, so he's going to be there for the foreseeable future. But maybe he's not where we would like him to be in his recovery process, and they think they need Igbokwe.
I hadn't even thought about that. I just, I got faith in Igbokwe. There's a reason they took him at 119. Like, there's a reason they took him this early. I don't know what his first year looks like, but I got a lot of faith in him going forward. If you can get him in the early second round of your rookie drafts, I feel really good about that.
No, I think he's 2-1, 2-2, right where he should be going.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere
and
around
then another incredibly annoying landing spot. This one, I don't know if I'm as low as I probably should be, and this is probably a bias for the player, but also a little bit for the situation. So, Luther Burden goes to the Bears. Yep. When the Patriots were on the clock, I was super hopeful they would take him. Obviously, that did not happen. I personally think he's the second most talented receiver in this class. That's behind Travis Hunter as the second most talented. I think he is more talented than Ted McMillan. I really think that.
Wow.
His skill set fits Ben Johnson's offense very well. Very well. He fits Ben Johnson's offense. Like, he comps to an Amon-Ra or a Debo. Not as good as a route runner as Amon-Ra, obviously. But he could absolutely play that role in Ben Johnson's offense and be really good in it. And, again, he's Ben Johnson's second pick after Colston Loveland in a new regime there. That being said, he is, I think, fourth in the pecking order as far as investment, as far as team investment. DJ Moore has the long-term contract there. Rome Odunze was the 9th overall pick, and Colston Loveland went at 10th. So it's I guess it's just a nightmare trying to figure out what the Bears offense do. Long term, part of me actually really likes this landing spot because I think he could become a DJ Moore, Amon-Ra Debo type player, and Ben Johnson's going to figure out a role for him.
Yeah, this was another one. I mean, this is when it was just like, are you kidding me?
I think you and me might be flip-flopped. Like, I kind of am where with Burden in Chicago where you are with Igbokwe in Tampa.
I think that's fair because I don't have any conviction over Luther Burden at this point. Like, I loved Rome. I still love Rome. I really like DJ Moore. They took Colston Loveland with the 10th pick. Like, it's just...
He's locking in on Caleb Williams. And maybe this should be a Caleb Williams thing. If Caleb Williams fails now, it is absolutely his fault. Absolutely his fault.
If he fails with this group and Ben Johnson, he just can't play in the NFL.
He's not a good player.
Like, it's that simple. He's not good enough to play in the NFL if this happens. But yeah, I don't have a great conviction over Luther Burden. I feel good if you get him in the second round, but he's definitely not a first round rookie pick.
I would say 2-3 is where he should go. That should be the farthest he falls, and maybe that's giving you some opinion. Like,
I'll say this,
looking into what our rookie rankings will be.
I'll say this, rookie rankings wise, I would have Jaden Higgins one spot ahead of him. Really? I feel better about Jaden Higgins than I do about Luther Burden.
Yeah,
I really do.
I guess I definitely see where you're coming from because Jaden Higgins is gonna have a bigger slice of the pie than Burden will. My only counter will be my counter is Ben Johnson. Is Ben's not? Yeah. Why would Ben take him right there? Who, I mean, obviously the NFL doesn't agree with me, but in my opinion is the second best receiver in the class. I mean, you can say he didn't go in the first round, but day 2 receivers also always have a ton of success anyway. So like him going in the second round is not his career's over. Like, there's a ton of incredible day 2 receivers in the NFL. So I
That's
don't
true.
know. Maybe
Jaden
they
Higgins-
trade. Maybe they trade DJ Moore. I mean, he's got a good contract. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
It doesn't seem like they want to trade him. I guess the point you're making, which is a good one, Jaden Higgins was drafted because the team needed him. Burden was drafted because the coach loved him. And so that is good. And it's obviously Ben Johnson knows what he's doing, knows what he's looking at. So
Yeah, he's not going to draft him if he doesn't have
better.
if he doesn't have a vision for him.
Yeah, just right now, I think Jaden Higgins walks into a wide receiver 2 role in an offense where I feel good about the wide receiver 2. I mean, we've seen Tank Dell have big games. I feel really good about where Jaden Higgins landed, and he went second pick in the second round. Like that is great draft capital for this type of player in this type of offense with C.J. Stroud.
They did not address the offensive line.
I feel good about Jaden Higgins.
So we'll see if Stroud can get him the ball.
That's true. That's true. Good gracious. Who did they take in the first? Did they take a lineman in the first?
Oh gosh, I don't remember who they took in the first round. Did they?
I don't remember who they took in the first either. Did they have a first? Surely.
Let me just look real quick because I don't remember. I know it wasn't an exciting pick. The Texans took. I don't think they had a first. They didn't have a first.
Oh.
No, remember because they traded it up to get was it that trade when they took the pass rusher from Alabama when they traded up, remember? To 3.
I don't think it was. Maybe it was. I don't know. I don't remember. Doesn't matter.
Either way, they don't. No. They traded out with the Giants. The Giants traded up to get Jackson Dart.
That's right.
That's what happened.
That's right. That's what happened. Yeah. Right,
Either
we got a couple more receivers. I think
either
that are
way,
worth talking about.
I like the landing spot. My only semi detractor to Jaden Higgins is he's built exactly like Nico Collins is. So they kind of have 2 Nico Collins on the team right now. But
hey, if he's Nico Collins, I feel even better about this.
Honestly, yeah. Okay, the last receiver I have
taking at 102.
Yeah, the last receiver I've got, and you can add to more if you want. I put Trey Harris on here from Ole Miss. I like Trey Harris a lot pre-draft. Yep. Literally the perfect fit for the Chargers offense. Literally exactly what you want for the Chargers. He does not affect Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey keeps the same role he had. Ladd McConkey is still the one, but he instantly is an upgrade over QJ and Mike Williams. He's an incredible big body, deep threat, can do it all.
Yep. I feel really good about him. I would actually put him, Jack Beck, and Kyle Williams all in the same tier. I like all 3 landing spots. I like all 3 players. I think those 3 are in the same tier. Those are the people I'm targeting. Really in the late second, but even as early as the mid-second, I feel good about all 3 of those guys.
I'm in a slow draft rookie league right now. I traded up in the second to the 208 and got Trey Harris, and I feel incredible about it.
Yeah. I think all 3 of those guys, the late second is what you're looking at. They're going to be kind of kicking around probably the same time. Honestly, they're probably going to go after Scadaboo in a lot of drafts.
They did.
Scadaboo
went
right
too
there
early. In the draft that I'm in, he went at like 2-2, which is not good, but
yeah, he's a guy who's a fan favorite who is going to get pushed up boards, and I get it. I like the landing spot, but I feel pretty good about these 3 guys, probably close to that same tier with him.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
I like all those guys.
Do you have any other receivers you want to put in here?
We'll talk about more of them as the offseason goes, but I think for this episode, that can be where we leave it.
We're running a little long, which, I mean, I feel like we expected with this episode anyway. I want to do, if we can, quarterbacks quickly, because I don't feel like there's as much to talk about with quarterbacks, and then I want to end talking about tight ends, because I feel like that's going to be a really interesting conversation. So let's do quarterbacks quick. You've mentioned it several times in this episode, and I'm honestly right there with you. In Superflex leagues, Cam Ward can legitimately go as high as 103, in my opinion, if you need a quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to take him at 103, that's great. If he falls to you at 107 and you take him there, that's great.
I really like the Titans landing
He
spot,
went
honestly.
101. Yeah, he went 101. It's really not that bad of a landing spot. Now, they were terrible last year, but offensive
Well, Levis
coach,
was terrible last year.
They have some talent at wide receiver. You know, they're not.
Calvin
they're
Ridley's
not,
extremely good.
They're not the Bengals.
Calvin
Yeah,
Ridley's
they're not
very
the
good.
Bengals, but I mean, you I feel fine about. Did you see Cam Ward pre-draft? I sent it to you guys.
Yes, I did see that.
His NFL wide receiver rankings.
I did see that.
He had Calvin Ridley at 1, and then Chase and Jefferson at 2 and 3, and Treylon Burks at 4.
He absolutely understood the assignment.
He understood the assignment. He's like, I've got to get drafted to these guys. If they would have asked him his all-time rankings, he probably would have thrown out Adam Humphries in the top 10. But no, that was great. It was great to see that. But I feel good about this.
I do too. This is a good landing spot.
If I need a quarterback, I feel fantastic at the 103 because I know, probably the 101 and 102 are set in stone. I feel great about getting Cam Ward at the 103. This is a guy who, he's got rushing upside. He doesn't have Jaden Daniels rushing upside, but he's got rushing upside. He's going to be able to – he'll probably score, 3 to 6 touchdowns rushing this year.
He had
we'll see
200 rushing yards his last year at Miami, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you factor in that sack yardage is counted against you in college, like Shador had negative 60 yards rushing every year.
Yeah, I think you're probably looking at somewhere between 300, 350 yards and 3 to 6 touchdowns, something like that.
That's what guys like Mahomes and Herbert do every year. I'm not saying he's going to be those guys, but that's what they do on the ground, and it gives them a floor.
Right. I could see him being somewhere in between Herbert and Jaden Daniels last year. To where maybe Jaden Daniels when he was hurt. That's probably what you're looking at. When go look at those 3 or 4 weeks Jaden Daniels had rib injuries. That's probably what you're looking at with Cam Ward. He's going to have enough there, and then the offense, he's got an offensive coach. He was 101 and there was no discussion about it really. At least from the NFL.
Did you hear about the
obviously.
offers that they were getting for that? The Giants offered 3 next year's first and other things to try to get him to move up to 1.
Really?
Yeah, they offered a huge package and they turned it down.
I knew by about a few days before the draft they had turned the phones off and they were not listening to offers. So I feel good about Cam Ward.
They like Cam Ward. That's their guy.
The interesting question is, what do you do with Jackson Dart? I know what I think I do.
That's the one I don't know what to do. I feel like I have to respect the landing spot. I like Brian Dable, and I like he's going to inherit Malik Neighbors. So I feel like Jackson Dart is in that conversation of he could go at 112 in rookie drafts.
I think he's a late first-round pick.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely a late first-round pick. If you're QB needy, even if it's a tight end premium, if you really need a quarterback, I would be fine with taking him over the tight ends. I'd be fine with taking him over some of the tier 4 running backs. They traded up into the first round, and I heard Peter Schrager say, and Schrager's a guy, a lot of the commentators know nothing about the NFL draft. They don't have contacts that they pretend to. Schrager's a guy who has contacts.
Yeah.
And he said he talked to the Giants brass, and they said Jackson Dart has been their guy since January.
If you look at the connections, apparently he's Dable's got connections to Ole Miss. There's several other management guys have connections to Ole Miss, so they knew him extremely well before the draft.
Yeah, you got the Eli Manning stuff. But Schrager said, when I heard Schrager say this, I thought, oh man, this is serious. When he said Jackson Dart was their guy since January, he's a first-round pick. He is a late first-round pick, in my opinion.
He's got to be.
If you can get him in the early second, we talked about some of the receivers going 201, 202. If you can get him there, I feel better about that.
That's really good. That's really, really good. I don't think he starts day 1, but I think he will see playing time in his rookie year, for sure. Yeah. It's Russell Wilson and it's Jameis Winston. those guys aren't going to last long.
He's going to get a chance to start for sure. For sure. And you got to think about it. Dayball's on the hot seat. He's going to pull the trigger quick. And even if you don't love Jackson Dart, if you can get him in the early second, the moment it's announced he is going to start, you can get him. You can trade him
For a first.
Yeah, for a 26 first.
Yeah. No, I love that. All right. There's 2 tight ends. I think it's really fascinating. You and I said before the show we weren't going to talk about them until we got here because I still don't know if I've made up my mind. I think I have a guy I prefer. But after you and I are gonna talk, and I'll make up my mind during our conversation which one I prefer.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going
You want me to go?
Yeah, you go first. I got a lot of things to say. I kind of want to hear what you say first.
So to me, 110 versus 114, I'm
Doesn't
not
matter.
viewing that any type of way. Yeah, I that's a wash for me. I happen to like the player and the landing spot better for Tyler Warren. I would say I'm definitely higher on Tyler Warren. I can't see a scenario I'd take Loveland ahead of him. And it goes back to what we were talking about with Luther Burden at some point. Obviously, Ben Johnson loves the guy. Obviously, he saw something he loved. And Tyler Warren was on the board. And he said, you can have him. I'm taking my guy Loveland. I get that. But the Colts have been talking about getting a tight end for like 6 years.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Warren to the Bears, honestly. I thought that was what they were going to do.
Yeah, so did I. I like the player better. You know, we've gone on. You and Josh did a breakdown of these two, and you guys talked through and their skill sets and everything. I like the landing spot better. Tyler Warren. I will say this. I actually think this pick really hurts Josh Downs because Josh Downs was, when he was good last year, he was really good. Like there were weeks he looked like a wide receiver 1 at times.
Oh, when Joe Flacco started, you started Josh Downs.
Yeah, right. But there was a lot of, intermediate, crossing, over the middle, slot. Tyler Warren's going to do a lot of that. Now, I don't think Josh Downs is dead, but, I mean, if you're not in a 12-team league, he's probably not going to make a difference for you unless it's a 12-teamer. But I really like Tyler Warren. I love this landing spot. I think he could be their number 1 pass catcher in the next few years. Like, I think he could pass Pittman and Downs at a certain point. Again, rookie wide receivers typically don't produce, but these guys were all offseason, they were first-round picks. Everyone knew it. They ended up going there, or actually in the early first. So I prefer Warren, but Loveland is also definitely in tight end premium leagues, he's a first-round pick as well.
Yeah, in tight end premium, I think Loveland should go no lower than 111. You and I are pretty much in lockstep then. I think I prefer Warren as well. The knock on him is obviously Anthony Richardson is complete trash at quarterback.
Good. He's really good.
But you say Anthony Richardson's good.
I don't think Anthony Richardson is going to be the guy throwing him the ball.
I hope not. I think
it's going to be Daniel Jones.
But even if he is, rookie tight ends tend not to produce. But I think Tyler Warren is really well polished coming out of college. I think he is more versatile and more of a weapon than Colston Loveland is. And he's going to get more targets. Unless Colston Loveland is TJ Hawkinson day 1 or George Kittle or somebody like that day 1, he's not going to be the number 1 pass catcher in his offense. He's not going to be the number 2 pass catcher in his offense. Tyler Warren, again, it's hard to say for sure with rookie tight ends, but could be the number 1 pass catcher day 1 for the Colts. And if half of his targets are horrible from Anthony Richardson, he still is going to get 5 catches a game if that's the case. I agree. I like the talent. I like the landing spot better, and I like the opportunity share for Tyler Warren the most. This is also not to knock Colston Loveland because he could be Sam Laporta instantly because Ben Johnson loves him.
Yeah, I mean, we say tight ends typically don't produce as rookies, and that's true. They also typically don't go in the top 14 picks.
No.
And the ones that do, honestly, the hit rate of like those guys at least producing at a mid to low end tight end one level in the rookie year is actually pretty high. Like even Kyle Pitts got 1,000 yards. I know he only scored 1 or 2 touchdowns, but like these guys are going to have opportunity. Loveland, to me, it's just at a certain point, there's just so many guys. Tyler Warren will not have that problem.
No. I mean,
no.
Can we pour one out and say a prayer for our Cole Kmet owners? Cole is completely, totally, without a shadow of a doubt, buried at this point. But yeah.
I mean,
you got 4 pass catchers. You got 4 pass catchers ahead of Cole on the team. And
5.
That's not considering
DeAndre Swift's going to have more targets.
DeAndre Swift is an excellent receiving back.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
it's
mean,
rough.
if you come away in a game and Cole Kmet has 4 targets, you're going to be thrilled. You were going to be thrilled with 4 targets.
But I also agree with you. This is kind of a callback to 2017 too. Is these first round tight ends? I think there were 2 or 3 in 2017 as well. And like I said, look at the hit rate. Like obviously Kyle Pitts hasn't been what you'd hoped. Kyle Pitts has also had a whole lot of problems happen that weren't necessarily. Not saying it's all not his fault, but he's had a lot of things happen that weren't his fault as well. I mean, these 2 guys went at the same draft capital as Brock Bowers. And I don't feel like the talent level is that far off. I mean, I know Brock Bowers is best. Don't get me wrong. But Tyler Warren's an incredible prospect. Colston Loveland is an extremely good prospect. So, top 15 draft capital for these guys is awesome. Tight end premium leagues, another reason that I love trading up to 108 or higher in these classes is because, okay, like, you know, either Ted McMillan could fall to 108. Judkins can fall to 108. Henderson can fall to 108. In the tight end premium league, if Tyler Warren is there at 108, that's the most instant smash I've ever seen on a draft board. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable. And I'll just mention before we get out of here, the next 4 guys who went in this draft, Mason Taylor went to the Jets, Terrence Ferguson went to the Rams, Elijah Arroyo went to the Seahawks, and Harold Fannin Jr. went to the Browns. I feel good about all those guys as well.
Yeah.
Like, those are guys who should not, if you are in a 3-round, 12-team draft, those are guys who they're going to get drafted in all those leagues. I feel good about those guys in the 3rd round. Honestly, Terrence Ferguson, I feel good about him maybe even a little sooner than that. So tight ends are they're something where there's a lot of guys to choose from in this draft. It's not just I didn't feel great about the wide receiver landing spots, but I do feel good about the tight ends.
Yeah. Just to wrapping it up is one of the most fun and potentially one of the best drafts we're going to see in a long time. This was phenomenal. Not, I guess, for quarterbacks.
This was phenomenal.
But, or receivers. But it's so deep. I mean, we've mentioned on this episode, guys we're talking about who are going to be going 2-2, 2-3, 2-4, 2-5. And we love them. Like, we think they are outstanding players.
Yeah.
And there's going to be even later guys. The tight ends you just mentioned. There's other receivers in the class. There's other running backs in the class that we didn't talk to. Your late second-round picks are valuable in this class.
Yeah, they are. And we were kind of preparing everybody all off season. We were like, somebody who's really good at running back is going to get replaced, and that didn't happen. We were prepared for the worst and praying for the best, and we got the best. So, feel good about that too.
Unbelievable weekend. Yep. Anything else you wanna add before we get off here? I'm assuming coming up soon we're gonna have our full rookie rankings, most likely Superflex from top to bottom, with tiers of, and that basically probably will just be a mock draft, but we'll have that out. We'll be
We'll
updating.
probably do
Go ahead.
Superflex and 1QB rankings as well.
I feel like we could probably do that in the same episode too. I feel like we should do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we'll probably do both.
We'll definitely be doing this coming up soon, updating overall Dynasty rankings. Where does Cam Ward slot in with the quarterbacks? Where did these new tight ends land? The really fun one is going to be updating Dynasty running back rankings. That's going to be a pill, and it's going to be a lot of fun to me.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
That's going to be interesting.
It's going to be tough.
But yeah, super exciting season. We're heading into rookie draft season. I'm in a rookie draft right now. I've got a couple more in the next month. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. All right, well, that's going to be it for us. If you enjoyed, leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought. Give us your opinions. What do you think about this rookie class? And we will see you guys in the next episode.